allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thank you, everyone, for attending our meeting this evening. First order of business, we have a presentation from Downingtown Library.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi. So you have a number of sheets in your packets. I'm actually going to start with the colorful one about summer reading because this morning, look down at the bottom corner. You can see we have drop-in story times, indoors on Tuesdays and outdoors on Thursdays. So this morning, outside in our Explorium, we had 150 people attending story time. Dancing, there was reading, there was movement activities, there was fireworks. So that is something that, you know, last week, our outdoor story time, we had 115. This week we're up to 150, school let out. So apparently people are looking for somewhere to go and something fun to do. And you can see we have lots of other great summer reading programs that are happening. Tomorrow from 10:30 to 12:30, we will be decorating our outdoor sidewalk with a sidewalk chalk art party because the summer reading theme is Color Our World. So we're doing a lot of very artistic programs this summer. And that just illustrates how much people love the library. You know, if we can get 150 people to sit outside on a day that got up to about 90 degrees and dance and sing and have a great time, you can see people are devoted to the library and the services we offer. They're having fun. We are supporting all different types of literacy. This morning, all about basic literacy, but we also have programs and services that encourage people to develop their financial literacy. So we have things about Medicare and financial planning. We have things that support civic literacy. So we have both history programs and things that allow people to build community. We have programs that support health literacy from the movement paradigm. We recently had a program on perimenopause. We have programs that cover different health related topics. We had one on heart health recently. And we also have programs that cover information literacy. So we have somebody coming this summer to talk about scams and recognizing and avoiding scams. So we really try to help the community build literacy skills in all of the important areas that help our community be successful and thriving and vibrant. If you look at our statistics sheet here, kind of our overview, you can see that we can have a lot of people at one program. We also have a lot of people over the course of the year. So last year in 2024, somebody walked through our door over 111,000 times.
Oh, wow.
So we are busy. We have people there all the time. We are circulating. We circulated 200,000 items last year. So our staff are busy. We are making library cards. We are helping people check books in and out. We are putting them back on the shelves all day, every day. We are answering questions. We are helping people find what they're looking for. Our staff, it is not a sit down job. They are on their feet the whole time they're there and working with the. Last year, we offered 814 programs to the community. Keep in mind, we're closed on Sundays, so we're only open 300 days a year. We're doing multiple programs every day.
Yeah.
And we had over 14,000 people attend a program last year. And our numbers this year are all up. So we have more programs and more people coming to them. And you can see on the back, this is wintertime. So this is one of our indoor story times. Fortunately, we didn't have 150 people that day because we are not that big. But we do draw a really healthy crowd to all of our programs. So as we look forward to next year, we're starting to notice a couple of trends that we need your support to help us manage. The last couple of months, we're seeing more people using the computer stations in the library, getting more questions about people printing and doing things like resumes. So I think we're starting to see people doing some job searching, and the library is a really important tool for that. We have CareerLink visit the library monthly to offer a local opportunity for community members to ask questions and get help with job resources. And last month was the first time that I've seen Juan from CareerLink have a line. So there were people waiting to talk to him. So hopefully that trend slows down and everyone is employed. But if people are job seeking, computers, printing, Wi-Fi, internet access, a reliable, safe space that is comfortable and has places that spend the whole day using the internet without having to purchase anything, without needing to have a cup of coffee, without any of that, fresh water, bathrooms. So the library offers people a place to pursue the things they might need easily and safely. We've also been in our current building for 10 years, and it's a great building, but it's starting to just need a couple little things here and there as it gets older. We've had to have the technicians come out and repair our automatic doors once or twice. Our HVAC units are starting to need some attention. So when we're looking at funding for 2026, those, along with our services that we regularly offer, are some of the things that we're looking for support with and that we're paying attention to. Are there any questions about the library?
No, commissioners, comments, questions?
Jasmine, can you just talk a little bit about, and just to be full disclosure, I'm a very proud member of the Downtown Library Board of Directors. But can you talk a minute about our fundraising efforts and where people can find ways to come to our fundraisers and things like that?
Certainly. So about a third of our annual funding is raised through fundraising and the community. We get about a third of the fundraising combined from the state and county, and another third is from our municipalities. So that includes you and our other surrounding municipalities. But we do put a lot of work into fundraising efforts. So in May, we had our designer bag bingo event. It was a lot of fun, very successful. I did not win a bag, but I had a good time playing bingo. In the fall, we will have the D-Town Brew Down. I was just at a Chamber of Commerce event earlier talking to a local brewer who probably will be participating, where people can get to meet the local brewers, test all the different beers that they're offering, and then vote for a winner. So it's kind of a fun community event that links people who have an interest in and brews. And then in February, whiskey tasting, where we have an expert walk through different whiskeys and the vintages and where they come from and what they pair with. And it's a learning experience and a tasting experience. So those are the three big fundraising events. And then we also do an annual appeal. I've just sent out an appeal this week for people to support summer. Summer reading is tons of fun, but it's also expensive because we're putting on a lot of extra programs, some of which, like STEM programs, we need to buy supplies for, make sure that we have art supplies this summer, a lot of art-based programs. And then at the end of the summer, both children, teens, and adults can all participate in raffles. So we have some wonderful raffle baskets that they can win. And for our children, they also have the option as they reach reading milestones, as they read 120 minutes every time they get a prize, so they can get a raffle ticket, or especially for the littler ones, they can put a token in the plastic bubble machine and get a plastic egg with stickers in it. So if you are 4 or 5 years old, that is very exciting. So that's a little bit about our fundraising activity. Any other questions?
Libraries are definitely a staple in our community, and just some of the programs that you're announcing there range from little kids all the way through adults, wide range of activities.
Yes, this year we did our first time ever, two Mahjong learning courses. So it was like a 3 or 4 week set sessions for people to learn to play Mahjong. And now on Fridays, we have a free play Mahjong group that is very, very committed to being there and having a lot. So, that's You can see little kid stuff and you can see things for adults happening at the library.
And I know Commissioner Young is a huge fan, not only on your board.
Just
I-
a little bit.
Go ahead, Josh.
I said I'm just a little bit of a fan.
And why don't I reach out to the residents here in the township building if they have any questions about the library, how they can get involved?
The library are free. Streaming service. We have the program free. Have a look. So we have stuff.
I love it.
Yes, so Downingtown is the Chester County system, which is all 18 libraries. Up a book at Downingtown, return it at Exton. They will send it back to us. We have things to from the libraries every day. And request a book from all the way down in Oxford will be sent to us. You can pick it up and down. So you all are things with your library card, you have access to not just our collection. Next question. So if you're looking at
Right.
Yeah.
Let me just interrupt real quick. If you can speak into the mic, because I know
Yes.
the folks on Zoom, they would love to hear
Yeah.
the questions. Thank you.
So when it comes to the library's database resources, most of them you can access from home. Ancestry is a special one. It is only accessible in library, but there's also another database that is through Pennsylvania that is a genealogy database that you can access from anywhere. So if you have questions about genealogy research, I suggest stopping in whichever library is most convenient to you, and we can point you to those resources. Yeah. Other questions?
Perfect. How about on
Okay.
Zoom? Any questions? Any hands
Any
raised?
Zoom questions?
No?
Jasmine, you're in your second or third year.
So I'm about a year and a half in.
Year and a half, that's right, because when I met you last year at Thornbury.
Yes,
you
I
were-
was very new.
I'm so impressed with the way you rocketed this into the
Thank you.
fifth dimension.
It's a very fun library to be at.
Jasmine's amazing.
Yeah, I think you guys do
I'm
a great
hearing
job.
that everywhere I go.
Well, you can
Really?
just tell by the presentation.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
very well. See, like you guys are having growing pains there. I mean, it's a very small library.
So
And-
we are 7,000 square feet, which would be big for a house, but is pretty tight when we're doing the volume of people that come to our space. We do hope within the next 5 years or so to expand. And I think the usage that we get really warrants a larger space. We're looking to have ideally not one, but 2 larger program spaces so we could actually have 2 programs at the same time.
Yes.
That would really help. We had some meetings of just kind of looking at the calendar for 5 minutes, trying to figure out where we can put a program that somebody wants to do.
Well, that says a lot. Yeah.
Yes.
That says a lot for your program because, like you said, it's growing. You're meeting the needs of, from young children to adults.
Yeah.
And that's a wide spectrum.
Yeah.
I visited the library not too long ago, just walked through
Mhm.
and was amazed. It's well operated and you can see the need to continue to provide so many wonderful services
Yes.
to our residents. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
I have to get you to expand into Thorndale.
Our Thorndale branch would be nice.
Thorndale Branch would be wonderful.
If there's no other questions, Jasmine, thank you so much for the
Yes.
presentation.
Yeah.
you.
Thank you for
Have a good evening. All right, before we hear citizens, a request, just a note, an executive session was held on June 4th, 7 PM regarding legal and property matters. Excuse me, and also this evening prior to this meeting regarding legal matters and personnel. We did interview our second candidate for our EAC. All right, so next on the agenda, citizens by request. This is for agenda items only. If anyone here in the township building have a comment? None at this time. Anyone in Zoom? All right, move right along. Ms. Camp, we have a conditional use hearing.
Yes, good evening.
For order.
This is the proposed decision and order from Mainline Health Incorporated. They are an equitable owner of a portion of property, approximately 14.5 acres, which is part of the property at 5030 Horseshoe Pike, which everybody commonly refers to as the Lloyd Farm. Applicant filed a conditional use application on January 17th, 2025, seeking conditional use approval from the board pursuant to section 155-22C6 of the Count Township zoning ordinance. The applicant would like to develop an approximate 145,000 square foot, 3-story medical center on a to be created subdivided lot off of the parent lot. The board held public hearings on March 10th, May 7th, and June 12th. At the end of that hearing, the board closed the evidentiary record and by law was required to render a decision within the 45 days. That's what tonight's agenda item is to do. So as typically is the case with these applications, the board, I have the transcript from the hearings. I also obviously attended the hearings. So I put together a decision that has findings of fact, which is based on the testimony presented. It also has conclusions of law based on those facts, and then has a discussion section, and then has a proposed order. I circulate this order to the township board as well as the staff and get comments and recommendations. And what I have before the board tonight is a proposed order to approve the conditional use to allow the property to be developed with a medical center substantially in conformance with the revised plan. The revised plan was the plan that they presented at the second conditional use hearing, which does show the extension of the Geo Carlson Boulevard. That plan will be further revised in order to comply with the conditions of approval and to obtain subdivision and land development approval. So when we started the conditional use hearing back in March, I explained to the board and explained to the public that this order, if it gets adopted this evening, is really step one in the process. It allows the zoning would be in place subject to the conditions. The applicant, if they so choose, would then go forward and file subdivision land development plans, which is a more detailed analysis, compliance with the subdivision ordinance, the stormwater management ordinance, the driveway ordinances, and there's all these conditions of approval. A lot of the conditions require them to do further vetting and discussion with the planning commission as well as the board. All of those meetings happen at public meetings where the residents are welcome to come and encouraged to come, because obviously the board knows potentially where your properties are located, but doesn't know specifics of how this project might impact your particular property. So coming to those meetings is important for that purpose. So I'm going to read the conditions of approval. I'm going to summarize them. The first one is that the development has to be designed substantially in accordance with all the testimony and the evidence that was presented at the hearings. So obviously the applicant called 5 or 6 witnesses who testified about how the project would go forward. They're going to be basically locked into that testimony. They can't change their mind unless it, of course, is to comply with these conditions. They have to revise the plan to be consistent with the consultant review letters that were admitted as evidence at the hearing. That includes the Arrow review letters, the traffic engineer, and Gilmore and Associates, who is the CTMA, the municipal authority engineer. They must obtain all necessary permits from PennDOT in order to design and construct the Geo Carlson extension, which was shown on the revised plan. They also have to construct all of the traffic improvements that were outlined in their transportation impact study, and those are specified in this specific condition under finding of fact number 64. So their expert, Matt Hammond, testified about what recommendations he made as to what traffic improvements have to be made. They are committed to doing that, obviously all subject to PennDOT's approval on PennDOT roads and PennDOT intersections, and subject to township approval for where they're township roads. They also must design and design all the pedestrian improvements, again, that Matt Hammond testified to, and those are spelled forth in finding fact number 69. Ms. Phillips testified about security measures that they take, so this condition would require them to implement all of those security measures. They will also have to install a denser landscape buffer along the property frontage along Lloyd Avenue and at the southern side of the parking lot to adequately screen and buffer the medical center from residential properties on the west side of Lloyd Avenue and the remaining portion of the parent track. So the specifications of that denser landscaping buffer will be vetted during the land development process. The issue of whether Lloyd Avenue, from where currently at Geo Carson ends to Manor, the board is not making a decision tonight on whether they want to keep that road or not. As you heard as a testimony, PennDOT has to be a part of that. There's much more traffic analysis that has to occur. That is not an issue that's being determined through this board. The issue of whether a sidewalk or some pedestrian access will remain or have to be installed by the applicant along Lloyd Avenue is also not being decided in this decision. That issue will be deferred to a land development stage. And right now, as I mentioned at the last hearing, the current subdivision land development ordinance would require the applicant to install the sidewalk. So even just to comply with your SAUDA, they would need to get a waiver from the board. So that issue will be something that will be further analyzed and discussed and determined as part of the land development. Applicant must install a sidewalk connection from the terminus of where they're installing the sidewalk along Manor Avenue to then turn in and come into their parking lot. So it doesn't just dead end, it will actually turn in and have a place to get onto their property. They must install a stone or brick buffer knee wall between the proposed sidewalk along Manor Avenue and the property. That was something that the Planning Commission recommended. The details and specifications of that will be determined during land development. They must install barriers to deter pedestrian access from getting to the rain gardens that are constructed through the parking lot. That was something that Josh Young was concerned about, so we put that as a condition. They are not permitted to plant any invasive plants or trees. They have to obtain all necessary permits from any outside government agencies in order to develop the property for the proposed medical center, which would include highway occupancy permits from PennDOT, traffic signal permits from PennDOT, planning module approval for the sewer from the DEP, as well as the Township Municipal Authority, and a permit called the NPDES permit, which deals with stormwater management and erosion and sedimentation control. So that's something that is a very heavy lift, and it takes quite a while to do, but that's something that they would have to obtain in order to be able to develop the property. The board is imposing a condition that the maximum number of parking spaces that they may install is 445. So if you recall, Matt Hammond testified that they're actually down from what they would normally want to install, and that came about as part of planning commission comments, the board being concerned about a massive parking. So the condition limits them to what is shown on that revised plan. They must install energy efficient lighting fixtures that meet the Illuminating Engineering Society illumination standards for commercial uses. They must install decorative street light fixtures along the Geo Carson Boulevard extension and Manor Avenue property frontage. And that the specification for that light fixture will be something that can be determined by the board at land development. They must design the building to achieve what's called Green Globe certification, which is a program similar to LEED, but a little bit different. They must comply with any energy efficiency standards which are adopted in the Township Building Code. And we go into a little bit of some of the details about what those green energy initiatives are. And that also will be further vetted and reviewed by the Township's Environmental Advisory Council as part of the land development. Applicant must install a welcome to count sign in a location to be approved by the board. The board wanted to make sure that people understood that this is, even though having the name of Downingtown, is really at the entryway to the Count Township. The last one is something that came up through some of the testimony about the number of 911 calls that will be made to the medical center. So this last condition requires the applicant to make an annual capital contribution to the township in an amount calculated by the township annually based on the number of EMS calls that the township's designated emergency service provider must make to the medical center in that year, for specifically patients who would be in that service territory. So right now, the service provider is Minquist. If somebody comes to that medical facility and lives in the service territory and they necessitate having a 911 call, that type of call would require the applicant to reimburse the township for a portion of that cost. So it's 50% of the cost of the call. And that's because of the fact that the service provider does bill out some of those calls and does get reimbursed by either Medicare, Medicaid, or people's self-insurance. So this number was not pulled out of thin air. It was based on testimony that Mr. Stackhouse provided and information about how much the emergency service provider actually gets recoups from billing. So we thought that that was a fair way to go about it. It is adjusted every year based on the number of calls. So again, it's not a random arbitrary number. So we think it's based on what the true demand is for that service that comes to that facility. And this is the last condition is that this order and all of the conditions are binding upon this particular applicant or anybody else that would come in if Mainline Health walked away and the owner of the property put the agreement under a sale with Jefferson Health or some other health medical center. These conditions would apply equally to them. So it what we call in zoning world is the condition runs with the land and it's binding on any successors and assigns who would own that 14 acres that if they would purchase it. So that's a summary of the conditions. I know the board has gone through this in pretty good detail. Mr. Stock has helped me incredibly. Your township manager weighed in, gave recommendations. So it definitely was a team effort. I know that there's a lot of people in the audience that participated in the hearing. If you are the party, once the order is signed, you will get a copy of the decision via email. You can read it. It has a lot of detail about the facts. And again, I would just say that this is not the end. This is the beginning of the process. So please stay involved throughout the process. So happy to answer any questions from the board or anybody else on the conditions.
Commissioners, any questions, comments?
No.
Josh? Is he still online?
I'm here. I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
Just, Kristen, can you talk just for a minute about what a conditional use is, that it's an approved use?
Yes. So a conditional use means that basically the ordinance already allows a medical center in the R2 district, provided you get conditional use approval of the board. And what that means is it's a permitted use on a property zoned R2, provided that the applicant provides evidence and proves that they comply with the specific standards. And in this case, the specific standards for a medical center are in section 155-91.b. And in their testimony, they went through all of those various criteria. And then there's also more general standards that apply to every conditional use. And they had testimony to provide proof of that. So the board can't say, even though the ordinance allows this by conditional use, we really don't like it here, and we're going to say no. The law says that if it's allowed by conditional use and the applicant provides evidence that they meet all of the criteria, then the board must approve. But the board, as we just went through 21 conditions, the board does have the power to impose conditions to help mitigate the impact that this particular medical center would have on surrounding properties. So that's really the purpose of allowing something by conditional use. It's a legislative decision that the use is appropriate on property zoned R2, but given where it is or how it's being operated, there may be some specific conditions that the board would like to impose to help protect neighboring property owners or just the community in general. So that's why the process is set up the way it is. But Josh, you're right that it's not something the board can just say no to. They do have to understand that the applicant hired consultants and provided expert testimony, which was really not refuted in any respect. And therefore, I think this is the right decision based on the law.
Thank you, Kristen. All right. If no other commissioners have a comment, I can reach out here to the township building. Anyone have comments? Feel free to come up to the mic. Okay, none at this time. Anyone in Zoom? Yes, just come on up to the mic. Just state your name, please. Michelle?
Michelle Hart.
Okay, thank you.
Mark had asked the question, trying to get an answer. Weren't some of their facilities for profit versus non-profit?
Yeah, we asked that question because we wanted clarification, and most of their facilities are non-profit. Mainline Health Inc., who's the applicant, is a non-profit entity, but there may be particular services that they provide that they partner with a profit entity, for example, an imaging service, MRIs. So if they partner with a company that's a for-profit company, then a portion of the facility is subject to real estate tax. They won't know that until they get up and running and know exactly what the facilities that are going to be and how they're going to be operated. That's a process that they'll have to go through the Chester County Tax Assessment. They'll have to file for, depending on once it's built and once it's up and running, and they know exactly what services are provided and who specifically is providing those services. They did indicate that likely a portion of the building will be subject to real estate tax. They don't have the details yet. That is also something the township has the right to participate in. The school district, the county, and the township have the right to participate in that hearing process that goes before the Chester County Board of Assessment. We won't know, but that's also, those are public hearings. So there's a public process and those are public hearings. And that could be subject to change. Like once you get, assuming that they apply for an exemption, real estate tax exemption, and it's approved in some fashion, if the use changes, so tax exemptions are based on usage of property. And in this case, it's a 501c3, but it's how specifically, there's very specific language in the statute. So if the use over time changes, and the example I gave is that at the township building, a municipal building is not subject to real estate tax, but there's a cell tower on the property. So the township actually pays real estate tax because they get lease revenue from the cell tower. So you'll see that there is a tax bill for where the lease area is for the cell tower because that is a profit-making enterprise for the township. So it's sort of the similar concept, but a portion of the building, yeah. Sure thing.
Thank you.
I have one thing, but I wanted to wait till people were done. Is everyone done?
Okay. And anyone else in
Anyone
Zoom?
Yeah, I really wanted to thank all of our residents who came out en masse to share their fears, their concerns, their truths. This will have a major impact on everyone who lives on Lloyd, and their lives will be changed forever. I mean, we understand that. The land itself that's going to be developed is the last remaining tract of what was it went from William Penn to Pike to Park. And the Parks once owned all of that, including the original Ship Inn and the land where Spackman Davis Farm sits. Eventually became the Zook Farm before Gentleman Farmer Lloyd bought it. Very near and dear to me because I was very involved as a resident in trying to stop the development of the over 55 there. I wish this process, I didn't like the way this process started. Maybe we're just Callan and people think that we have blinders on, but coming in and asking for a zoning change and saying it wouldn't affect our zoning in our township kind of was like, I won't say a slap in the face, but sort of like thinking that you're going to take advantage of us. I'm glad we worked our way through that, but understand that had that zoning change happened, it would have affected every R2 in this township, and we would not be sitting here at a conditional use hearing giving conditions because it would have just been approved flat out. I appreciate Mainline working with us and coming back a number of times. Like I said, this will no doubt cause great inconvenience for all who live here. The neighborhoods that their traffic dumps onto Lloyd and nowhere else while this development process goes on, which will be a couple of years. But the benefit of a major healthcare, and I understand is a potential cancer center here in Callan on that sacred land definitely outweighs the negative. And I love that Mainline Health is committed to being carbon neutral by 2030. So, I mean, there's positives, there's negatives, but in the long run, having major healthcare here matters. And Kristen, I want to thank you for really explaining the conditional use process to everyone. You know, thank God we have a conditional use process. So,
Yeah. And I kind of have the same sentiment as Mark. Appreciate everyone that came out, and we did hear your voices. And this is just the beginning of the phase of development. And we'll still continue to hear your voices. And you can still continue to be a part of the process as we move forward with this project, with the Planning Commission. There are lots of conditions and you're still a part of this journey. So just don't think that those few town meetings that we had, that you're not still being heard, because you're still a big part of the process. So I hope you don't go away and you stay with this project until it's completed, and that many of the things that you've voiced your concerns about, they can be met. So thank you again.
Thank you, James.
Paul, can I just say one more thing?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I just want to echo what Mark and Jane said. So I've been doing this a long time, and you know, I've been through a lot of conditional uses, and I'll just say that the public makes the conditional use process better. Their input, their expertise of the knowledge of their neighborhood makes the process better and makes the outcome better. So, you know, don't feel like your voice wasn't heard. And you know, we meet twice a month. Come join us. We're here every second and last Thursday of the month. Please stay engaged and continue to come to our meetings.
Thank you, Josh.
And the land development process is where we'll be talking about intersections and traffic.
Yeah,
And
the
so
traffic.
you really want to stay plugged in.
Just want to say thank you very much for coming to all of our hearings. You've made it happen. And thank you again.
Okay, thank you, Lorraine. I believe my fellow commissioners have pretty much covered the ground. I do see a handful of folks here that have been attending the last several meetings, conditional use hearings over at the fire hall. We had a much larger crowd. And the main concern we were hearing, of course, was the traffic, pedestrian, the traffic, you know, autos and whatnot. And this is all part of the land development part. So as my fellow commissioners had stated, please, you know, be involved, come to our meetings. We can get through this process, but medical facilities are definitely needed throughout the county and definitely needed here in Count Township. So we appreciate Mainline Health working together with us to get to this point and hopefully to a final product. And with that said,
Somebody must make a motion. And it would be, if you're comfortable with the decision in order, it would be to approve the conditional use subject to all conditions summarized by Ms. Camp and set forth in the decision order that was circulated to the board. I think the last version was Wednesday.
yes. Well, with that said, entertain a motion to approve the conditional use with the updated additions.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Tindaro, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Congratulations.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Kristen. You did an outstanding job.
Good evening.
All
Good
right.
evening.
Enjoy the shore.
To the beach.
Take care, gentlemen.
Yeah, what are you doing?
He just wanted to know.
Thank all of you.
Good. Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. All right, moving right along. Township manager, what do we have? Road program bid award.
Yes, good evening, commissioners. I'll be performing the role of Ross this
Okay.
evening from Gilmore.
Big shoes to fill.
Absolutely. The first agenda item we have for your consideration is the road program. The program has been discussed at a number of meetings. I know in your packet, there's a list of the roads that have been identified as needing repair. We did circulate bidding, the RFP documentation, received back 8 bids interested in performing the work for the road program in 2025. The low bid came in under the estimate that was provided earlier in the year.
Mhm.
Low bid was, and of course, Ross and has reviewed all the necessary paperwork associated with the low bidder, and they met the requirements that the township has set forth. Low bid came in. It was Heidelberg Materials in the amount of $349,702.50. Again, that's significantly lower than what was proposed in the cost estimate.
Excellent.
Ross was very pleased. We're very pleased. This funding comes out of liquid fuels, which doesn't only have to go towards road work. It can go towards equipment. It can go towards some stormwater in certain situations. So any cost savings on the road program, we can put into other improvements throughout the township.
Perfect. Commissioners, any comments on this?
Yeah.
Thinking no. Josh is still online. Anyone here in the township building?
I just have one question. I'm sorry, Paul. I couldn't unmute myself fast enough.
Okay.
Don, there's an escalator clause, right, for the cost of asphalt, should it go up?
I believe that was included in the contingency. Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to, so that price is pretty fixed, but it's not completely fixed.
It's pretty fixed. It could subject to change based on conditions, but within reason, of course.
Okay.
Again, almost 200,000 lower than what we thought.
Wow.
Right.
You know what that is? It's a start the car moment, right?
No.
Start the car.
Oh, wow.
Haven't used that in a while. All right. Any residents here in the township building? Any comments on the road program? None at this time. Did we explain where?
And map.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's make sure we have a map up for the folks at home. And this is where the road program will take place. All right. No further questions. Entertain a motion to authorize the township manager to sign Gilmore and Associates June 4th recommendation letter to award the 2025 road opening contract to Heidelberg Materials in the amount of $349,702, and 50 cents.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Tindaro, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. One Commissioner foul.
Oh,
Mark stepped out there.
okay.
All right.
Excellent.
Next, 2.2, Hazelwood Avenue Guide Rail. Got some issues there.
Yes. This is a potential road issue, or definitely a road issue on Hazelwood. It was identified by our public works director, Mr. Huggins, who noticed the side of the road, south side of East Hazelwood, east of Bonsville. There was some stormwater erosion or deterioration of the road that had undermined the shoulder and the guardrail foundation. We immediately contacted Ross from Gilmore to do an evaluation. A quick evaluation determined, just based on the conditions that you're seeing on the screen, it's in need of repair pretty significantly. There's a PSA in your packet for Ross and Gilmore to come out to assess the damage that has been done, the cause, and then create a cost estimate and design in order to repair and restore the conditions of the roadway. It does not appear that the road itself is been any roadway integrity failures. There's no cracking on the roads that I could see, but it's getting close. So the sooner we are able to evaluate, assess, and move forward with a plan in order to shore up that section of roadway, the better.
Is there a stream or waterway underneath this road?
The culvert looks like a stream. It's between the road and the Amtrak line. The SEPTA line is right there. There's a significant number of trees that have come down in that area. Couldn't really get into it. I went out recently to look, and it is overgrown, and the trees are quite a few trees down. So we'd have to really get into evaluating. Does not appear as a stormwater management, a pipe issue in that area.
Okay.
It
won't know until you
get
you start digging it up. Would there be a road closure? Are we estimating anything?
To be determined, obviously, anytime we can limit the amount of impact to residents utilizing the roadways, we strive to.
Mhm.
During certain elements of the construction phase, when we get to that point, may have to limit roadway access for heavy equipment, things of that sort, but that'll be to be determined in the future.
Okay. That is right near our road program.
It's on the other side of
Yeah.
Bondsville, but it is along the
Oh,
same roadway.
okay. It's on the other side.
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
That is fine. All right.
Could we say that this was caused by storm erosion over a period of time?
It's likely.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be able to say. We wouldn't be able to say for sure, but it does seem to appear that it was some sort of erosion caused by stormwater.
And will we be doing anything to try to move, I don't want to say, to divert the water away from this area? I mean, to fix it and then, have the same thing happen if we have a bad storm or.
If we need to do that, once we get in there and take a look and see what may have caused this problem, certainly we go through the proper process of obtaining the necessary permits in order to divert or modify the waterway. That is a lengthy process. That's an expensive process. So if we need to, we will, of course. We want to keep the roadway safe, but we also want to make sure it's done as quickly as possible and correctly as possible.
We just don't want to put a Band-Aid on it and then have to turn around and, do it again next year.
Agreed. No.
And that's not going to resolve the problem.
We're not just going to fill it with dirt and move on. No.
Yes. Gotta have the dirt washed away the next storm. Okay. So it does need to be looked
Good
into.
question. Commissioners, any other comments? Yeah, we're almost done. I'll ask here in the township building, any questions on this? None at this time. Anyone in Zoom? Easy enough. Entertain a motion to authorize township manager, sign Gilmore and Associates, for the Hazelwood Avenue Guide Rail Repair and Storm Sewer Replacement Project, not to exceed $36,120. Have a good evening.
So moved.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks for coming. And estimated 9,280 for the T&M, total cost of 44,400.
So moved.
Moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Moved by
Sorry.
Commissioner Tindaro, second by Commissioner Young. Glad you're still online. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. You. And next, 2.3, Arlie Grant Fund.
All right, thank you, commissioners. The board is familiar with this fund. We applied last year. Unfortunately, we were not successful in accessing funding for this. This is for Lincoln Highway safety improvements
Mhm.
involving pedestrian and bicycle movement and streetlights. There's been a significant number of, this was pointed out to the township by the chief of police, that we have had some incidents along that roadway, pedestrians and individuals on bicycles at all hours of the day, especially in wintertime when it gets dark earlier. It's very poorly lit. There's not the proper safety provisions to navigate that busy roadway. Last year, we applied for a $1.5 million grant through the red light program. It's called ARLI, Automated Red Light Program. This is a grant fund that comes out of the red light ticketing
I love
programs.
this. Yeah.
So it's applies statewide where townships and eligible entities are able to attempt to access the funding to improve safety and transportation on roadways. We were not successful at getting the 1.5. However, we also applied for a Commonwealth Finance Authority, DCD, Department of Community and Economic Development grant for the same project. We did get $450,000 from that fund. Feedback from the ARLI program in the denial was it was a great project. They really felt it merited approval, but the dollar amount was just so high, they wouldn't have money to go to the other areas of the Commonwealth. But they encouraged us to apply again this year. This year we're applying for a lot lesser amount, almost $500,000 less. And they modified the program. I can't say it was because of what we did, but the program this year is specifically requesting projects that are focused on pedestrian and bicycle safety improvements, specifically with lighting. So they basically, it is our application.
Mm-hmm.
So feeling very hopeful this year. The PSA that's in front of you and the resolution we would be submitting with the application, it'd be for around $1 million to finish out the total project cost for this. And then it would be the resolution to submit, and that we are working with Gilmore, Ross and Kristen Norwood from Gilmore, for cost estimates and some of the engineering associated with the design of this improvement project. The deadline's June 30th. We hope to have it in well before that. We're not really changing that much. Police department through the chief updated the crash information along the roadway. Unfortunately, there were, I believe, 5 additional incidents, 6. So the problem it exists. It's there. So, but otherwise, the application will remain almost identical except for the upgrades and
Last month.
minor tweaking. So we'll get it in before the 30th.
Commissioners, comments?
Great job.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes,
Good.
they rewrote it for us.
Yeah, very good.
This encompasses Vision Zero that the chief and I started talking about a year and a half ago, and just if you look at those numbers, if you get hit by a car it's going 10 miles an hour, you walk away. 25,
Yeah.
you probably walk away. At 30, you're not walking away. By
Gonna pay out.
35, you're getting carried away. And at 40, you're probably never going home again. So slowing things down, whatever way you can. And I think this is great. I'll shut up. I'm just,
He's excited about it.
I am.
That's all. He's
I am.
excited about it. As we all should be. Anyone here in the township building? Any comments? Questions? Not? Perfect. Zoom.
Everybody's excited.
We have, 2 action items.
They're too busy popping corks at home.
Entertain a motion to approve resolution 2025-16. This authorizes the township manager to submit an application for the 2025 automated red light transportation grant for Lincoln Highway.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, 5-0 passes. Perfect. And if I remember reading, the red light money is coming from Philadelphia and 2 other counties, not our county.
No, it's 2 counties right on the edge of Philadelphia and Montgomery County.
Yeah.
I forget which ones on the moment, but yeah, it's all the funds will be coming to us from them.
We thank the other counties.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. 2.4, we have Deborah Town.
We have to vote on the $2,000.
Gilmore.
Oh, I didn't do the second. I did say we had 2.
You did.
Just so
You're
excited.
moving so fast.
Entertain a motion to authorize the township manager to sign Gilmore and Associates, the PSA.
So moved.
So moved. Moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor, say aye.
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 Yes,
Motion
it's-
passes 5-0, was in the amount of $2,000, not to exceed. Now we can move on to Deborah Town.
Yes.
We interviewed her prior to the last meeting for the EAC appointment. And I think we were all pretty happy.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And I think she is here and she is excited to get started. So thank you for attending.
Thank you.
So commissioners, any comments, questions? If not, entertain a motion to
So
appoint.
moved.
So
Second.
moved. Denise, you have that? Did you get all that?
Yes.
We all seconded, we all motioned. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're gonna have a good time on this board.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. We have Leslie Edwards, who we interviewed prior to this evening's meeting. And we are interested in having her on this board as well. And she is excited.
Jumping up and down. You can't see her on the
Up and
camera.
down. So, commissioners, any comments, questions? If not, entertain a
So
motion.
moved.
Right. Was it? Oh,
That was Lauren.
okay. I moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Tendero. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Congratulations.
Welcome to public service.
Welcome aboard.
And I told you, you'll be here for 20 years.
Yes.
Okay, so
So have fun.
get ready. Are you excited? You have a full board now?
Oh, almost.
I love it. All right, you guys going to stick around? You enjoying this?
We only have 3 hours to go.
Oh,
We're actually rounding.
Yeah, we're doing pretty well.
Mhm.
So, Ingleside Golf Maintenance Cart Request. Who wants to take this one?
I'll start it off, and of course, Nicole from Ingleside, manager over there, can fill in any gaps. But
Okay,
next three items
Thank
are
you.
related to purchases, carts for the course.
Mhm.
As the board, of course, new carts were purchased not too long ago for golfers, and it's going very well. They're wonderful golf carts. But for any of the activities on the course that require distance or carrying things, those carts are being put in service and out of the hands of golfers. So the request came forward for some additional equipment items that would allow for staff to better utilize heavy duty carts with equipment areas, things of that sort, or safety areas if you're on the range, in order to, number one, operate more efficiently throughout the golf course. Number two, free up those golf carts that are currently being used to transport items of people for golf related activities, staff and materials and such, and put them into get those that have tee times can use them. So they're not waiting for carts to come in order to get out on the course. If Nicole, if you wouldn't mind going through the items that are requesting and how they be put into use, that'd be helpful.
Sure. The three items. The first item is our utility carts, is what we would call them. They're designed to transport tools, equipment. They can tow things. They can haul soil. They have a bed on them. They're more rugged. They're more rugged than a golf cart, so they can be used to maintain the property. It's 150-acre property, and there's a lot of maintenance going on, and a lot of improvements require heavy-duty equipment. Utilizing a golf cart for these things is not realistic. It's not efficient, and there is potential to damage the carts because we're using them for things they're not designed for. So that's the number one item. Our maintenance staff has grown. It's doubled in the number of staff members. So the more we build that staff, the more carts we need. And we're just pulling, like Mr. Remazal said, we are pulling away from the golf operation by using the brand new golfing carts for maintenance practices. The second item is a beverage cart. The down one. It's been a massive hole in Ingleside's operation for a long time.
agree.
To not have a beverage cart that can travel the golf course, selling snacks, food, and beverage to the golfers as they play. It's a pretty it's industry standard to have this at a golf course. It's a humongous selling point for getting fundraisers and events at the golf course. Right now, we're again using a regular golf cart with a small cooler bungeed into the thing.
Old
because
school in it.
It's extremely essential, and we don't want to do without it, so we made it work. But this would be much better and more efficient. So far, that bungeed cooler has made over $10,000.
Wow. Pretty good.
And we imagined, and we can fully expect this machine to make between $25,000-$35,000 in revenue, just food and beverage revenue.
Good.
Not including the fact that it is a draw for outings and events. A golf outing can be $6,000 to $8,000 in revenue. And if that's the deciding factor, whether or not we have a beverage cart, that's a quick $8,000.
Wow.
It also, the other thing that plays in that we'd love to use it for is advertising. It's the exposure of this vehicle to hundreds of golfers a day makes a perfect opportunity to advertise businesses. So our goal would be to have a certain limited amount of frontage on it for local town businesses to advertise out on our golf course, and that could potentially bring another $10,000 in revenue to the club. So that one, is important. It has a cash drawer. It's more efficient and safe. We're not carrying a box full of money around out on the golf course. And the third item
Nicole,
is yes.
Will that be able to visit us here during our meeting?
We could swing by
with
Swing
some
by.
coffee, yeah.
anytime.
All right.
Agree.
That does bring up a very, very good point. I do want to make it very clear that these utility carts specifically will be available for community day, to what you're collecting trash, doing those types of things. We'd be able to use them for other community events. The Spackman Davis Farm, anything goes on over there. Those vehicles would be available for those things. They're very capable. The third item is the driving range cart. People hit on our driving range. It's the most we've ever had. Thousands and thousands of balls are out there. We need to go get them so that we can sell them again. And we need to do that safely. This is essentially the same machine as the utility carts, but it has a cage on it. So we can safely drive out into the driving range and not get hurt. Again, we're using a regular golf cart for this operation. And it's just not safe. It's not efficient. The tires are bald on it, and it's I think it's a 2004 golf cart. So it's costing us much. But and that would be the third item.
And I also believe the disciplinary policy, we are not allowed to put employees in that without the cage. Is that correct?
We're working on that policy.
Okay.
If somebody falls, we'll
Yeah, that range cart also has a large capacity bed on it to haul things. It can be used for other things on the golf course when we're not picking driving range. We have a number of water coolers spread out throughout the golf course that we need to constantly refill and make sure the golfers are hydrated in the summer. And right now we have to take one water jug at a time in a golf cart. And, this has it's just operationally, the efficiency would change. And we would have a very happy staff.
As far as budgeting, I do know that we had a budget line.
So, yeah, as far as
that may be able to cover.
Yeah, so you should have received a memo that included the available funds that were already in my budget. We had a bunch of placeholders for items because we weren't sure which direction we were going. And this is the direction I'd like to go.
Yes. And the fact that we can utilize them for other events. We have a picnic coming up, but also some other park and rec activities.
Yeah.
The fact that we can use that, and I believe also sometimes we have the parade, Coatesville Parade, asking for some type of, and we haven't been able to give out our golf carts because they are brand new and we didn't want to ruin them so quickly.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea, and actually it's two utility trucks. It is the range picker and also the beverage cart.
Yes.
And let me ask you this, I do understand that we've been staffing that. your makeshift
Yes.
beverage cart throughout the golf course. How's
It
that
is-
going?
It is regularly staffed. Right now there's 3 staff members that operate it in shifts. At our busiest times. Kind of mapped out our busiest times, our leagues, and for sure the weekends, and we keep that thing moving. That it's an important revenue driving tool for the club.
And actually, it's really a convenience as well. I mean, if you go to, play 18 holes, the fact that somebody would come up with a cool beverage
Yeah.
at the
Sure.
right time, I think it's just that alone, the convenience of it is helpful for our members as well as folks that are visiting our golf course.
Sure, and you may not know this, but our golf course is designed in a very odd way because of where the apartments were built. So instead of half of the golf course, the first half ending at the clubhouse where you can take your halfway break and stuff, the halfway point of golfing at Ingleside is about as far away from the clubhouse as you can.
Jeez.
So
Highway.
so you spend, let's just say it's a 3-hour round of golf. You spend 2 hours pretty far from,
Where?
Yeah.
drinks and snacks and food. So,
Mhm.
that's where this thing operates.
Yeah.
And it's doing very well, even despite its thrown together look.
Say, bring it up to speed so that we can keep making the golf course better.
Commissioners, any other comments on this? You're pretty
Gonna
excited.
help.
Get it?
I think so.
Sharp. Josh still online?
No.
I'm still here.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Any comments, Josh?
When can we get the beverage cart?
Yeah.
And can it meet him on the turnpike?
Yeah. Can it pick me up and bring me home?
All of these items are available. They're in stock at the vendor. It's the exact same vendor we bought our fleet of golf carts from. They are co-stars of co-stars. And they are available this month, beginning of next month, depending on when I make the order. So
Night.
On that point, we had, because of the event coming up at the end of the month, we had utility carts listed as action items, but if the board chooses, can vote on either hold for the other agenda items, but they are budgeted line items.
Yeah.
So it would be fine to vote as well.
Let's go for it.
Do it.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
I just noticed the other 2 items are just discussion.
We got a whole summer ahead here. Let's get them in.
Our township manager says it's okay to do the action item.
It's a budgeted item.
Good.
Perfect. All right, let me reach out to the golf fans here in the township building. Any comments? Do we have navigation on the beverage cart?
Uh-huh.
They can find the golfers. Maybe not the balls, but they can find the golfers. All right, anyone? Oh, yes. The question was, did we compare gas versus electric?
We did. Some of these items aren't available in electric because of the demand on them. This beverage cart is we're open from sun up to sundown, and this thing might go from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., 8:30, 9 o'clock. So gas was the only way to go there. And then the utility carts, as far as what we pool with these things and how often they're running, gas was the more feasible option.
That is coming from,
It's a great question, and at every chance I can, I look at that.
coming from newly appointed EAC member. Good question.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone in Zoom? No? All right.
Paul, I have a question.
Yo, yes.
On the diagram with the beverage cart unit, it's shown in orange. will we get everything that it's, so it's compatible to what we have?
Yes, I don't want the orange one.
I don't
Oh, I
think
like
so.
that orange one.
Well, but it's not compatible. You want to keep your fleet, pretty consistent, I guess.
Completely agree. Yeah, I'm hoping that it will be green,
Or black or something. Good.
or dark blue.
Right.
So
Will we be able to get lettering or anything on these?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Good.
So we'll have our logo on it.
Yes.
And then of course space for advertising.
Good.
Yeah.
Like it.
I'm thinking neon lights, some disco ball,
Yeah,
so they can
right.
find it.
Yeah.
Of course.
Why not? Some music?
Make it a party.
It's getting late.
I know, we're getting silly.
Some of,
Yeah. Entertain a motion to approve all three vehicles. Do we have a total amount, just so I can state it?
52,053.
All four vehicles, I'm sorry.
Just
There's
four?
two utilities.
What? There's
So let's
three.
get into
Three.
finance.
There's four vehicles
Yeah, four.
totaling $53,035.
Nicole said, but yes, it's
Well
two
budgeted.
two utilities,
One.
the range picker and the beverage cart.
And
So we do
four.
have four. In that amount, entertain a motion?
so moved.
So
Second.
moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. One,
Thank
two,
you.
three, knocking those out.
Good.
Thanks, Nicole.
Pretty soon you're gonna need another restroom. now.
Yes, thank you.
All right, next 2.9, we have Spackman Davis Farm update and improvements. What do we have here? Some updates.
Yes,
My goodness.
commissioners. So for this one, I do feel a little guilty because so many folks in the township and in the community have been involved in the work up at the farm. It's really been a full team effort. And this is just acknowledging and updating the community on all the work that's been done to improve that important public resource. We have some photos of this.
Take note, Ray.
Wow.
Slideshow.
Yeah.
Nice. Hidden steps.
That is the approach up to the upper meadow or picnic grove.
Yes.
Prior to that photo, it was completely overgrown on the right side of the garage. Public Works just did an amazing job removing the entire wall of ivy and other invasive plants.
That's not it.
I just put this one in. This is the after of the tree work that we had done. It might not be super obvious to everybody, but it looks much better.
Very clean.
Very nice. Those some picnic tables.
Old one. Oops, sorry, that was the last.
Mm.
I need to get an aerial of the new roof. Let's go on the next.
Nice.
Now it's been significant amount of time and energy improving that property, but it's noteworthy because of just a fantastic township resource. And we are utilizing the property for additional activities. We have the picnic coming up on June 28th. Second annual last year had about 150 individuals attend. This year, looking to have the same, if not more. It was a fantastic event, and the second year is going to be even better. We know we're having art in the park, a photo lessons up at the farm, Spackman Farm, and then Public Works, the Emergency Service are looking to do some drone training courses at that property. So we are targeting and doing safe activities, and I don't want to cut off this line item without any questions, but the next topic, of course, relates to how we're trying to expand access and continue to improve that resource. Oh, we did, yes, inside the property. Thank you. There was not only was there a cleanup effort in advance of the event on the 28th recently done, but we finally had the dehumidifiers in the basement. They were installed last week.
That is excellent news.
So that should help take the humidity down within the property. We're assessing next steps to bring that back to full life. And piece by piece, it's coming together. But it's through the work of everyone. It really has been.
It's an idea, what, 3 years ago? But we didn't have
1.5.
electricity, so it's all
Going like
coming,
this.
all
Yeah.
coming together.
Yeah, it really is.
Love it. Nice.
3 years ago,
And-
we didn't have a driveway.
Right. Yes.
True. And the best time to, trying to say, when you want to clean up an area, you set up a party, so you need to do it, you know, same thing at home. When do you clean your house? You clean your house when you have a party coming.
Yeah.
An idea.
We were out there yesterday. Was that yesterday? Chris, Brad, me, and man, we were just waxing and mopping and music going. It was a blast. The wind glasses all shining. Public Works put all the broken glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Public Works did replace the windows as well.
Let's give a shout out to Public Works.
Yes.
That is great.
And Abby's crew. And if
Abby's
you have
crew?
not registered for the picnic yet, register.
Which is the next item, right?
I had a question.
Oh, no.
Excuse
Yes.
me. Don, was there something also discussed about the public wanting to know when there could be unstructured time at the park, at the farm?
We do periodically receive questions on when the public would be allowed access, and it is public property.
Yeah.
And I believe this board has mentioned in the past in public meetings and certainly directed me to start moving towards opening that property up as a park, as open to the
Access
public.
to-
And that I believe hopefully the next agenda item will
Okay.
dovetail nicely into that conversation.
Okay.
Nice segue.
Perfect.
Yes. So 2.10, Kings Highway Park Strategic Task Force. Sounds so official.
Officially official.
So this, when I came to the township, when the board hired me, this was one of the first items that was brought forward is how do we create something special at that property? It's been several years since it was purchased, and their limitations are clear. It's access, it's parking, it's safety. There was a plan done many years ago, shortly after it was purchased in 2007. It was a master plan. It's a good plan. Having gone through it, it does cover a lot of aspects of what would need to be done there. There's some other things thrown in that may not fit today. There's an easement. There's a playground and things on that easement, but it wouldn't be a very heavy lift to take a look at this plan and update it to what we need there now with this board and what the public would like to see. Obviously, there'd also be a cost to any improvements. So we want to be strategic about the phasing of ensuring that it's done properly and in the most efficient manner from a budget standpoint. There's a number of grant funds that we could go after in order to make those improvements and start towards opening that property up to the public. One thing a lot of those funding opportunities look for is that have you involve the public. Involving the public can come in many different ways, and one way that we've discussed here as staff and with the board, of course, is putting together a strategic task force to take a look at the plan, to see what works, what doesn't, update it, have some public meetings and present it publicly at the Board of Commissioners meeting. And I don't think that would take that long if we really buckle down. The one funding opportunity comes next year, about midwinter, late winter. And I think if we can form a task force with the many dedicated volunteers that are already involved, that many of whom have been going up there and participating on a regular basis to pull invasive, weeds and other plants. And I've have a vision that it would be open to the public. I think we could turn that around fairly quickly in order to apply for that grant. So really what I wanted to bring forward is similar to what we did with the Sustainability Task Force last year, is to form a task force dedicated to updating this plan and being able to present that plan not only to the public, to the board, and to include it in some funding implications to get things moving.
Well said.
Love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Commissioners, comments? excitement.
Excitement.
Calm down out there.
This is when Jane, myself, and Mark were elected. That was one of the items that we wanted to see. Of course, it's we're talking generations. It'll take years, decades, maybe to finally complete. But this is like our first step. Taking this old, and they did an outstanding job with this 2007 rendition of it. We're looking to put together this task force to come up with some other ideas. There's beautiful parks being installed, built throughout Chester County. West Whiteland Park, I drive by almost every day. It's beautiful. Certain items from other parks would be excellent to incorporate what we would like to see here. But this is a group effort, and that's why our township manager, Mr. Vimazal, is reaching out not only to the public. We want to involve some of the boards that we have presently and get a lot of feedback, but this is going to be a group effort. What would you like to see in your local, park? What would you like to do in a local park? And this is such a beautiful piece of land that, it's like Valley Forge. You just go away and you're like in a different time, in a different era.
Yeah.
It is truly beautiful up there. So, that's what we're hoping to achieve. Hopefully in 6 months' time, we can have a good idea what we would like to see there. So we're going to put together the task force. If anybody's interested, please reach out to Don here or even Abby, Park and Rec. Everybody knows Abby as well. And let's get this ball rolling. We're pretty excited.
The key, I think,
But,
is getting a parking lot up there.
Yes.
That if we can get a parking lot up there, we can do so much more, and we can open it up to the parking or to the public so much more. I was lucky enough to be on that task force that made that plan in 2007, so many years ago. There are things that I think need updated from that plan, but the overall passive trails around that park, just so you can, like Paul said, walk the beauty of that land. We need to get moving on that.
Urgent.
Well put.
Excited about that. All right.
Yes.
Also, our engineer, I know Ross had worked on the West Whiteland Park, if I recall. So I don't know if at some point we may want to entertain involving our engineer. We can discuss that.
I can reach out to him and see if he could draft up what that involvement would look like from a cost perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And this is set as discussion for tonight. And if the board would like, we would be forming that task force would be an action item at the business meeting at the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe he should be able to return something around if he's able to take on that work.
Mm-hmm.
So we could also consider the PSA from Ross as well.
Okay. Hit the ground running.
Do it.
I'll reach out here to the township. Any residents have comments, excitement, ideas?
Come on up
to the mic.
The microphone.
Yep. She's getting involved. I like this.
Interesting. The building, is it inhabitable?
No, it's in good shape. It's in surprisingly good shape. This is a 1757 first structure was built. And then it grew 3 different iterations through the years. No one has lived in it in 20 years, I want to say. It has electric. It has no anything else right now. No one could live in there now, but it's not falling down. It's got a brand new roof, and it's pretty remarkable.
And there's a barn in addition to it
The
itself?
largest bank barn in Chester County. And
Because I'm
it-
thinking wedding venue.
that's
It's
that.
beautiful area from
Yeah.
what Abby just showed us. It's really cleaned up well,
Oh, yeah.
and would be beautiful for pictures. And that's what the first thing that came to mind, similar to Springton Manor Farm.
Yep.
Has weddings there. Could be useful,
The
in addition to just beautiful.
picnic this year is, and last year we did it on the front lawn along the trees. This year we're doing it in the upper meadow behind the house. And I think on the original plan, there was a wedding garden on that plan. And also plans for a venue. It's a long
So-
way.
Yeah.
Anything along that line.
As long as we
be
keep
some-
moving forward, yeah. So
Be nice.
Thank you.
thank you so much.
See what you can come up with by next meeting.
I will get that moving.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks,
You
Don.
should be going to your office right now and working on it.
Lights are out.
All right, and this topic is interesting. 2.11, Friends of Speckman Davis Farm Memory
Good night.
Brick Fundraiser. Good night. And we are not throwing bricks,
We are
but we
not.
will be taking a look at bricks.
So I'll just bring these up to the board.
Oh,
I'll get the other one.
oh, are these the bricks?
Oh. Might have handled about 75 of these.
Yeah,
100, yeah.
these came from the chimney.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
There was, I said the house was built in different sections. And the furthest section back
Nice.
was built in 1850. And it had a chimney that was separate from the others. You take it.
Absolutely. It's an older section of the property. And when we were restoring the roof, putting a new roof on, they discovered that the chimney would need significant repair in order to remain, at that location. And the two chimneys at the front of the property are more picturesque and historic. And based on the cost and based on the recommendations from the roofers, it was decided to take that down the back chimney, keep it internally. It's still in the property, and if we ever wanted to in the future, we could put that back on, but remove it and seal it up in order to ensure it was the roofing project was done properly. But we asked to keep the bricks. Normally, this would be construction debris, but we asked to keep the bricks to see if we could repurpose them for some purpose. One of the recommendations that came forward was possibly to use them as a fundraiser for newly formed Friends of Speckman Davis Farm in anticipation of the 250th celebration next year, to essentially have individuals be able to purchase a brick, engrave names or a message, and then incorporate them on the property at a to be determined location, if the board would allow. The reason why I'm bringing it to the commissioner's attention is it's technically township property. It's a part of the farmhouse, and before we allow a nonprofit, even though it's a partner nonprofit, to utilize and make revenue off of the township property, wanted the commissioners to sign off on that. It is listed as a discussion/action item tonight, and that would only be if this is a concept that the board would like to consider. If with the picnic coming up on June 28th, if it was approved tonight, it would give time for that nonprofit to put together the proper marketing and materials and develop that concept out fully. So happy to take any questions, but I wanted you to have see the bricks we're talking about.
Commissioners, comments?
I think you can experience this. You can smell it, right?
Yeah, I see the smoke. Yeah.
You can, and this is the real thing here. I mean, you can see where inside the smoke from
So,
150
years.
years or two, and it smells like it's like it's a very cool piece and a lot of fun moving. Around 100, right? More than 100, yeah. Oh, yeah.
More?
Yeah.
Less than 200?
Two.
More than 200?
Right now.
Oh, okay.
100 and 200.
Okay.
All but one.
Wow.
We can pass the mic around, but just
Yeah. Why don't we do that?
It's a suggestion.
Mhm.
If you're gonna have people maybe purchase them and then you can engrave them, why not put them you're looking to build things on the farm, like a gazebo, and make the bricks be the floor and people can go and they can
Like a
find their
walkway.
brick,
That's very cool.
something like that, to do with the bricks.
That's very cool. Write
Yeah.
that
Do
down.
we have ideas or?
The original idea was to do a path
Okay.
Walkway.
that would actually
Walkway
lead
with-
to where they've cleared out where those steps are that go up to the
Oh.
meadow. That was the original plan, but there's nothing. There's a year to figure that part out.
You can do it also on like on a sign, like an entry sign,
Yeah.
like a wall coming into the end of the drive. And like a
Yeah.
welcome signs.
So at the picnic, you're going to try to,
Sell
Market,
them
you're gonna market.
sell-
for next year.
okay. And during that process at the picnic, are you offering some ideas what the bricks will be?
Yeah,
used for?
we were going to pitch for a path.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
but
That's nice.
I like
Be a
that
welcome
gazebo thing
sign.
too.
Either wall.
Yeah.
That's when you just-
I appreciate that.
Well,
The condition of the bricks, are they safe to
Yeah.
walk on? Okay, they are solid?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
okay. I've seen in other areas where they use bricks to outline a walkway.
Mhm.
Only because I'm thinking if they're not safe to walk, you could use them that way as well. Or a wall.
Yeah, like a sign.
Ideas, but that is Friends of Spackman Farms' responsibility to figure out what they want to do with the.
They have to work with us to figure out where. it's
Well, no,
gonna
if,
go.
if we offer the bricks.
No.
They do the selling,
They-
then they get it done,
Mhm.
the engraving done. We help decide where it's going. I think according to the
Through the
MOU,
MOU, any significant changes or improvements?
Oh, okay,
Right,
on the property itself.
right,
Have to be
okay.
approved by the board, yes.
but everything else they'll.
A good
handle.
point, okay.
Ray actually had the best price for this.
For the
It's for the
bricks.
250th,
Yeah.
$250 a brick. Or as my grandmother would say, $1.380. Anyone remember that? It was $1.380. I'm old. My grandmother was much older.
I lost that one. I'm usually pretty on top.
It's on top of you. It'll come to. It'll
Okay. Yeah, tonight I'll wake up. Oh, yeah.
come.
All right,
You'll have to
excellent
find a
idea.
company, Mark.
I didn't have any coffee.
You'll have to find a company to do the engraving and that'll be an all-inclusive price
Yeah.
based on lettering. and-
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
that's nice. Yeah, we did a memory walk like that
Oh, you
at
did?
one of our churches and people brought bricks. And they just memorial bricks in memory of someone or just the family name and yeah, cool.
I'm going to be picking your brain.
We're not gonna pick my brick. No, but it's nice.
Yeah.
I'll show you a picture of it. It's nice walkway. Leads right up to the church.
I did not ask anyone in Zoom. Any ideas?
Just in case you run out of bricks, they sell bricks. You can get bricks.
Any money?
All right, with no other questions, I'll entertain a motion to authorize Friends of Spackman Davis Farm to proceed with their memory brick fundraiser.
So moved.
Second,
Moved by Commissioner Tindaro, second by Commissioner, Kennedy. All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. Move right along, 2.12, the Pico Green Region Grant Meadow Park in Phase 3. Who wants to take this?
Dream up.
I think Abby she's dying to talk about this.
the green.
Yes. So we have been informed that we did receive, you might remember that we applied for a Pico Green Region grant to finish seeding the rest of the Meadow Park. And we're going to receive that. So we'll do
Yay.
a bigger announcement once we get an official letter from them, but just wanted to pass that along. So our 1 acre at a time is going to get sped up pretty significantly. And what we applied for should cover the cost of the remaining 5 acres, as well as some more amenities. Don really wants a gazebo. We'll at least get more benches and perhaps some picnic tables and trash cans up there and stuff. So, yeah, it's very exciting. Moving along, expanding. And we, I think, are going to be planning a ribbon cutting for next month, perhaps. So more information on that to come.
Yes.
Exciting.
Well, just the parking area as well.
Oh yeah, it's all done. I don't know if anybody's been back behind the police station, but you can see I didn't do it. Public Works did it and demarcated some parking spaces. We've got some signage up, leads you down the little path out to the meadow garden. So it's available if people want to go for a wander out there right now. Yeah, so we'll just do our ribbon cutting to make it official, but it is open to the public.
Great.
Abby, you think we can put one of our book library stations back there?
Put one where?
Back at near the middle, the book station.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some
Love it.
benches,
It's a great idea.
biodegradable benches, the plastic ones.
Yeah. Yes. Good idea. I think you'll really enjoy it. Take some pictures.
He just.
I saw part of it and it's
Cool.
gorgeous.
It
It
is.
really is.
It's
And,
amazing.
and then we're gonna go put one in at Ray's house.
All right.
Everywhere.
I think we do.
Questions
We
from
only have
residents?
another 3 hours.
We love talking.
We're there.
There.
Any residents, any comments, questions, interested? Anyone in Zoom? Oh, sweet.
Oh,
Wow.
it's gorgeous.
Oh, that's so pretty.
Look at the deer.
Love it.
They're eating all the
Oh.
vegetation. You see the two deer?
In the back.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
Nice. And you said we have 3 more acres,
5.
5 more acres?
We did the first acre, and then Nicole helped last year with the second acre, and then we'll have five remaining acres.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great.
Great.
Looking forward to the ribbon cutting.
Mhm.
That's gonna be cute.
All right, moving right along. We have your
Minutes.
So
the board minutes. Yeah, May 8th. Apparently we did not have in our packet.
I apologize. It was an older version. We do have May 29th. It's
Yes, we
we
do.
have 1 month of meeting minutes, and because it was tabled last, unfortunately, we need to table the May 8th one again. So we'll get that at the business meeting. And
Understood. Yeah, I should have caught that sooner, but
my fault.
so entertain a motion to table
So moved.
minutes.
May 8th.
Yeah, table.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Yes.
Motion by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those minutes have been tabled, but we do have May 29th minutes. Any comments, questions? If not, entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Tindaro. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes 5-0. Finance Department, we have a check run. Excuse me, check number 54,105 to 54,175. The and no manual.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sticking around.
Thanks for
Have
coming.
a good evening. You guys taking off? Good to see you.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Coming.
For all your input. Keep getting better there.
Yeah. All right.
Great.
Take care, guys.
Good
Good
night.
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 That was no manual check run. Entertain a motion to approve those checks.
So moved.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Young, second by Commissioner Tindaro. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Checks have been approved. Moving on to board liaisons. We'll start with Park and Rec.
Park and Rec. We had a pretty interesting meeting. This time of the year, there's like a lot of events and activities going on. Was it Wednesday, started the Art in the Park with the seed packets with the children? How did the event go? I wasn't present. We were here working on another project that night.
It was huge. We had more than we had at any of them last year, so it's growing, and everybody had a great time. It's a
Love it.
great event. Yeah.
And there was also some discussion about having the photography classes this summer at Spackman Farm. And we'll be picking dates for that and times.
We've got the date and the time. We just need to get the tickets for sale. So
Okay.
that'll be coming up very shortly.
That's going to be interesting. So looking forward to that myself. And that'll be for teens and adults, and that'll be something that all the residents can take part in. So kids of all ages will be at the photo shoot. Also, we had a discussion about the American 25 project coming up and how Park and Recs will collaborate with the Historical Commission and the other boards and do something grand, for that event. So we're just brainstorming ideas on how we can make it a very successful event here in Calhoun Township. So if you have any ideas, just pass them along to Park and Recs. What else do we have going on here? The summer movie series is going to start this week, Saturday.
Wow.
Wonka.
Wow.
So
Supposed to rain.
we got to watch the weather.
Yeah.
Every weekend it rains, so it's been like that for the last month or so. So hopefully it won't. So just stay posted to see if Wonka's chocolate won't melt on Saturday. What else we have coming up? We had a discussion about our pavilion rentals. So we're going to be really working through that a lot. We're getting a great demand for our pavilions for our parks. And people are coming up with grand ideas on what they can do in the park when they rent the pavilions. So we're going to probably have to revise a lot of our agreements to say what's permitted and what's not permitted. So they think they can rent the parks and they can have their own parties, bring in other like food trucks and musicians and anything they want to do. So we got to refine it a little bit because people are kind of getting very creative. We're renting the park so we can do whatever we want kind of concept. So we got to watch that. It's getting very popular, our pavilions, which is good. Am I missing anything else? Of course, we're getting ready for our 17th annual Callan Community Day. So we're looking for vendors and sponsors, as we are gearing up for that big day. And also on August 5th, we'll have our annual National Night Out hosted by our esteemed police department. And that's always a good time. So we have a busy summer schedule leading up to September. And the summer hasn't begun, but it's already ended because we are already in September. So just stay posted. A lot of good things going on in the community here at Callan throughout the summer. Thank you. COG didn't meet because of the weather, so their meeting was canceled. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Municipal Authority. At our last meeting, we talked about, the contractor for the Colonial Gardens area had completed the 2025 grouting project. So all their trucks, vehicles have been moved out of our neighborhood. Did a very good job. Also, we approved resolution 2025-6. This is accepting the deed and dedication of the sanitary sewer lines that were installed in JLAR LLC. That is the Chester County Sports Arena project. So that is all complete, and now we own those. And last, notice of intent to award was issued to the lowest bidder contractor on April 30th, and this is for the Calhoun Meeting House Granger Lane project. Hope to have installed later this year. That's what we have for the sewer department, and as long as you guys can flush your toilets, we're doing a good job. And with Dara, we're still dealing with the expansion project, just working on that. Mr. Mays stated that the project design continues. Project meeting was held with their design engineer on April 24th and led to a few items that need to be addressed, which is approximately 1 acre of land will be needed to be acquired from a neighboring property, and flood protection limits will need to be defined so that design can be completed. This is new, exciting. So hopefully we can continue with that. Right, and fire board. Be me as well. What do I have? We actually just met this past Tuesday. It was a very good meeting. We just discussed some updates on the township agreement that we have with us. We are working on changing the reporting requirements to our building life and safety director, Mr. Stackhouse himself. And he will be responsible for informing the township manager as well as the board. And some other items as well, but that's an ongoing process. Hopefully we'll have that ready third quarter of the year, be approved before the end of the year. And then last thing was a revision on the SOGs, item number 401.02. If anybody follows this, the apparatus response order. This is interesting. Basically, they've added a few lines, which I felt were kind of important. The CO incident, they renamed it from CO with alarm with patients to CO incident, but they've also added 2 lines, which is pretty exciting. The elevator rescue. But this is something that the crew is going to be trained on, or already are, and also search. Which they will utilize the new ATV that they have. So, and then just the reorg of the response order, just switching over, and you guys can check it out online once it's complete as well. But all it states is who would be responding first at these incidents. It could be the engine 38, rescue 38, all the way down to the utility vehicles. So. But that's more of a guideline, standard guideline, SOG. And that is it for fire board. I will move on to historic.
Historical Commission is all about that picnic. Although we do have a couple other things, we're making some tweaks to the preservation ordinance, and Historical Commission member Kathy Callahan has received tentative addition to the National Register of Historic Places for Mendenhall House, which is quite a beautiful place. It's right at the corner of Bondsville Road and Edges Mill Road. So they gave her a hard time. Is there an update that I don't know about? No. Okay.
No,
So
that's
hopefully
it.
it's done. The picnic, yes. Saturday, September 28th. Food by Cedar Creek Catering. It's $25 to buy the food, and it's like brisket on the grill and pulled pork and all kinds of incredible stuff. There's a limit to how many people can attend because of the parking, so it's free registration. Get on the Cowan website and register. There's a rock concert by Sweet Freedom Rocks at the end. The reading of the Declaration of Independence, all kinds of fun. So,
Right.
and we have one opening we need to fill. So that's it.
Thank you, Mark. Lincoln Highway.
Oh, I forgot one thing. I'm sorry. Stargazers Winery will be at the Stargazers.
Wow.
Lincoln Highway. Josh.
I don't have anything for this report. Mark, did you have anything?
We met last night, and it was mostly Arlie talking about the Arlie grant and some ideas for Lincoln Highway. We didn't, without you, without Adam, who's dancing around in Italy, but we had a good time.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Ingleside Golf Course, Lorraine.
Hi, good evening. Club memberships are available with discounts to Callan residents, seniors, juniors, family, and veterans. Revenue and activity were strong. 2,500 golfers and 1,000 used the practice facilities. Planning for events and fundraisers throughout 2025, led by John Frank as event manager, are expanding and include school golf programs using Ingleside as their home course, fundraising events and benefits hosted at Ingleside. Golf course improvements are providing greens ready to play right now, and all facilities are in great condition. Our next golf committee meeting is Monday, June 30th at noon. Great job, Nicole and the entire Ingleside golf team for implementation of a robust 2025. The weather is improving, so come on out to play Ingleside. Thanks, that's it.
Thank you, Lorraine.
Thanks, Lorraine.
Thank you.
Additional business. Have any additional business?
There's a few items. No.
Okay.
Additional business is getting to adjournment.
No, we have public comment.
Oh,
Pete? You're good?
all right.
You know, we do have a microphone.
She has to write all this down.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not that, it's that Denise has to.
Is
change-
just thanking us for
That's
our
all it is.
contribution towards
Yeah.
the Coatesville Library.
Yes, thank
There
you.
go,
We
Pete.
just, last year we had a major flood. So we've been using the year to fix up the bottom, and it's coming into great shape. We've put in a teen zone. So we have a big area for teenagers to come and hang out, do activities, and it's been great. It's getting them off the streets and keeping them busy. And our kids zone is filled with all kinds of music, art, etc. And so we have a June 24th with Pizza Hut in Coatesville. We have a fundraiser. So please come support us.
June 24th.
And I'll have the executive director and the president come eventually to meet with you. So we're in good shape. We're doing very well. We our programming, we just got touted by the Chester County Library System of having the most diverse programs of all the libraries. So I'm very proud that they offer all, and you know, we do have a diverse population that comes. So that was a very good plus for us to have.
Thanks.
So
Thanks.
Thank you.
I knew you would come through for us, Pete.
Thank you.
And just to let everyone know, Count Township has the best of both worlds because we have the library in Coatesville as well as the library in Downingtown.
Yes, we do.
And we'll soon have a Thorndale branch, right?
So we're gonna have one in Thorndale.
Yeah.
Thorndale branch.
Oh, yeah.
Hub.
Mhm. Support them all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pete.
Thank you.
All right. Any other public comment? One in Zoom? All right. Before I ask for adjournment, I just wanted to wish everyone a happy Father's Day this weekend.
Oh, yes. Happy Father's Day.
Kick back, relax, let the family do everything for you. I plan on doing. Hope my wife is not listening. All right. Entertain.
So moved.
So moved. Do I have a
Second.
second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good
Good
night.
night.